Hello and welcome to Barnstable Today. I'm Len Gobeil. The Barnstable Planning Board met on May 14th, and the principal item on their agenda was a request by Peck's Boatyard to replace the wind turbine that is on their property but was destroyed in a windstorm a few years ago. The board heard from a number of different people as to why the turbine should be replaced.
Good evening. Hi, Conrad Geiser from Katuitt Solar. My company is the owner and developer of that wind turbine on behalf of John Peck. I believe probably most people know, but if they don't, the history is that we, did have a turbine up there approved by this board a little over 3 years ago, and it functioned okay for about a year, and then it had a catastrophic failure where two of its blades broke off at about 1/3 of the way down. Needless to say, that created a very difficult situation for us and everybody. And so for the past 2 years, we've been studying, the possibilities to try to come up with a machine that could potentially satisfy anybody that was concerned about safety or noise, and I believe we have. The turbine that we are proposing is an endurance turbine. There's a very long track record in terms of small turbines, at least, going back 4 years, and hundreds of machines, 120 machines. Gary will talk more about that, with no catastrophic failures and a tremendously high uptime. Very, very low failure rate. A different technology from the turbine that we did have there is called a Provin, and that was a mechanical feedback machine whereby if the wind was too strong for the turbine itself, it had spring-loaded, essentially, hinges that would allow it to furl out of the wind and catch less wind.
Oh, great, thank you.
Good evening. I'm Caroline Schmidt-Deal. As Conrad Geiser already mentioned, I'm an attorney working for Katuitt Solar LLC, who will be the owner of the proposed turbine. So the first thing that I want to talk about is what we're actually proposing here. I understand that there's been some confusion about whether we are moving forward with the site plan that was approved on February 21st of 2012. There are going to be no guy wires or antennae as part of this proposal. We are proposing something that is consistent with that site plan review. At this point, there is a 100-foot monopole that is currently in existence on the property. It was permitted before. The addition will add 11 feet to that, and as Conrad Geiser mentioned, it will be a much smaller turbine than was present before. We are proposing a 5.2 kilowatt system instead of a 15 kilowatt system at this point. Gary Harcourt will talk about the safety features.
I'm Gary Harcourt. I'm the owner of Great Rock Wind Power, but I'm also the owner of an S-Series turbine as a homeowner. I run a wood shop over at Martha's Vineyard, and I've installed 8 of these S-Series turbines on the island of Martha's Vineyard. Conrad stole all my material, basically. It's a quiet and safe turbine. It's very different from, am I too loud, or is that all right?
That's great. Fine.
My wife always tells me I'm loud. It's different from most small turbines and different from the pre-existing turbine in that it is a fixed speed upwind stall controlled turbine, which is very similar to the industrial turbines that you see, in that it connects to the grid with an induction generator, much like a table saw motor. And when it is connected to the to the grid, it is required by the grid to stay at that speed. So it is not a turbine that winds up and down, changing speed with the wind. So it stays at that constant speed, even when the wind increases to upwards of 55 miles an hour until it shuts down. So when you start to, the reason it's called a stall machine is because that blade stays at the same speed, the wind increases, and as the wind increases, the blade then stalls. So it puts less pressure on the turbine, which is, if you were looking at the power curve on the brochure, you see the power curve goes down as the wind goes up. One of the reasons that's sort of the basic reason that it's a really safe turbine is because of its fixed speed. And the other reason, the other thing that happens with that is that it keeps the turbine quiet because it doesn't rev up to high speeds, no high tip speeds. It stays at that 166 RPM with just a very little bit of slip, which is how it generates electricity. 4 years ago at the National Renewable Energy Lab for a year, so I went through all of the testing that NREL does for small turbines, including duration testing, where they put the equipment through longevity tests on machines. They bend blades over specific, you've all seen that kind of equipment. Like they do open car doors and shut them, numbers of times. So they do duration testing and sound testing and power quality testing, and the turbine passed with flying colors. And it was it's at the very end of test small wind certification by Windward Engineering, and again, it's one of the top turbines out there. There aren't. I will honestly tell you that I personally don't trust many wind turbines. The Berge that Conrad mentioned is a turbine that's been around for a long time and has a great track record, but I wouldn't install it because it's too loud. It's just the way it is. So the only turbine that I trust is the Endurance. It's been through a lot, and it's designed way over designed, and I don't know what to say other than that.
A concerned citizen, Robert Hayden, who is in a butter, a businessman, to the Peck property, spoke and questioned a number of issues about the wind turbine.
Good evening. I'm Bob Hayden. I'm the most immediate abutter. And I think my issue here tonight has been heralded by Michael Ford, the attorney. And certainly the most predominant issue is a public safety issue. I'm sorry. There is no other issue here tonight more important than that. And if you change the wind direction, which more strongly would be from the northeast instead of the southeast, which was predominant for those 3 days, that 3-day period. And let's assume it was a Monday morning and not a Sunday morning, and there was a school bus traveling down Route 28. I know that the travel of the blade was approximately 175 feet, let's say. So about the time that I saw that blade going through my car or another car or a school bus, I'd say, I don't think this is exactly what we want to promote here. So you've got to decide down the road that this can't ever happen again, because somebody's getting another bite on the apple here. And I'm not sure it's appropriate. I'm not sure even the location of the tower in the first place is appropriate. But this is like a real estate thing, location, 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 all right? And it just doesn't ring well as far as I'm concerned. And I know that John Norman must have beat me to my shop that morning. Usually he doesn't do that. Usually I get one up on him. So I should have found the blade, but as Michael Ford said, had it been put where it was originally proposed, it would have been at my front door and not on the road in front of my shop. So.
Great.
The planning board decided that they would hire a consultant paid for by Peck's Boatyards to look and examine at how the situation can be resolved. The Barnstable Planning Board then continued the matter until July. For Barnstable Today, I'm Len Gobeil.